Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday morning. The Pallet I CWM. So I put the introductory set into my Amazon wish list. My daughters one-upped me each other and bought me all 3 sets and bought a bucket load of paints for Crimbo. Oh, welcome to the hobby. I'm glad you got treated at Christmas. You've only got 10 termagants left to do. That's pretty quick. So I've got 20 gaunts here to paint today, but I'm only going to try and do the carapace. I'll do an update on the Imperial Fist as well. Go for it, painting. Hello again. Hello, Hungary. Elsie. Arc Ascended. Now you'd have to tell me what Arc Ascended are. I'm not. So hopefully it's going to be just another chill sort of bit of painting again today. So this morning I finished doing the washes on these guys. So all 5 are done. I did the I've got all the packs and heads on sub-assemblies as well. So I did those. Something else I did as well is I just took Cassandora Yellow and I went into the recesses where the wash wasn't that strong. But I didn't actually have to do it everywhere. Survival game with dinos. Is that kind of like Turok? Probably have heard of it, to be honest. So I've got the Cassandora Yellow and I just sort of put it into recesses that I thought needed a bit more help and a bit more definition. And something else I did, I just did all the red trims. Closer. Hopefully my laptop won't misbehave today. I did have to neaten up the red as well. So I just went in with a bit of Wraith Bone. I didn't have to do much, but you're gonna kind of expect it when you're doing trim. So I'm pretty happy with these so far. I think later today I'm going to do some more work on these because I'm pretty motivated to get these done. So I'll do the all the ribbon in the armor. And then the weapons and purity seals. They're going pretty quick, to be honest. Wondering Modeler, welcome back to another stream. Good morning. I've got my cats here with me at the minute. Usually they chill downstairs in the evenings, but in the mornings they're usually around me, so I might have to get up and down to let them in and out the room. But no, I'm pretty happy with these guys. I've got the sergeant's helmet ready. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. So this is Bowl Red, and then Blood Angels Red over. I've just got to let my cat out. I'll be right back. It'll be meowing to come back in about 20 minutes. Hunter SWC. Hello, welcome. Yeah, I'm really happy with those. I'm gonna carry on doing some more work with those. I want to try and get all the colours down first, and then, as I said, I'll assemble them and then highlight everything after, just to make it quicker, just so I don't feel like I'm highlighting 20 million sort of different bits. But you can imagine, like, trying to just paint these like in the standard way probably take about 3 times as much. That's kind of like why I like contrast paints, just because they go on quite well and easily. But they obviously have a different finish. I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. Are we all hobbying? I've got Marnie's Calgar to start tomorrow. He's all ready. Sindri, yeah, I am a madman. I love Imperial Fists. They're my favourite chapter. This is probably like my 4th or 5th army of them. I've never always been that happy with how they've turned out, but I feel like I'm now pretty competent enough to do an army I'll be finally happy with and invest in. So I've got my sub-assemblies, and these are undercoated. And I'll start these guys tomorrow. So I've got Marnie's Calgar and the 2 guard. And it'll probably literally take me 2 days to do all the base colours. But then it's pretty standard after that, just the shading and highlighting. And with his honour guard, I had to do some weird sub-assemblies. Because part of the cape, or the cloak, is attached to the arms. Same with the power sword. I don't know how that's going to end up looking when I've painted it. There's 2 ways I could do this. I could get all the base colours done and then assemble it, and then do the highlighting after. But then it's still going to do quite a good job of getting in the way when I'm trying to highlight. So that'd be an interesting thing to try and figure out. But I'll probably talk about it in the video, because obviously when you put it back together, you're just gonna have to do a bit of cleanup after you've finished. Wondering, modeler, are those Jenga blocks you're using to attach separate items to? Yeah. There's a link in all the descriptions of my videos to what I use. It's just like a cheap game where you can just pay like £8 for like a tower game. Good morning, Ryan. Are you trying out your new airbrush today? Good luck. Yeah, and then I'll just use bits of sprue. I've got a video called Getting Your Miniatures Ready for Painting. I'll go through all the process of building to until you're ready to start painting. I'll sort of go through using the sub-assemblies and sprue bits and undercoating. So I'm looking forward to painting this guy. And I can just add it to the army of Ultramarines I've now got. So I'm hoping these 3 miniatures will probably take, I'm thinking about 7 days. What's 7 times 45? Probably about 50 to 60 hours all in to paint 3 miniatures. Yeah, you can use either blue tack or super glue to attach the pieces. I'd definitely use super glue to attach the miniatures to the Jenga blocks, but if you use blue tack, they might not be secure, so when you're painting, they might keep like moving about, and it does get frustrating, so just suggest a bit of super glue, and then you can just snap it off or clip it off, which is a benefit of using the sprue. So if you do find a piece that you can't really get off that bit of sprue, you can just clip it off, clean up the bit area. I'm going to be doing the carapace of the gaunts today. I have got 20 here, so hopefully I can do more than I got done last night, which is, I'm still not. I've got some stuff done this morning. Rousey, hi my friend. Hi, my friend is a best friend, stupid French fan. Hello from France. I've got quite a few people in France. I get a lot of comments. So welcome to the stream. I'm glad you can make it. I wanted to try and do like an earlier stream today, just so people, other people around the world might be able to get sort of a chance and join a live stream. I've got an airbrush. It's only like a really cheap one that I think it costs like £20 on Amazon. But I only use it to do like basic colours for scale models and stuff. But it's good enough for me. I just prefer brush painting personally. So these are my gaunts and where they are so far. So I've done the flesh and the gun. So I've got a video or a tutorial for these guys already showing you how to paint these. I have changed up the sequence that I do things. A lot of the time when I do your oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that. I wouldn't consider myself the best anything. I just really enjoy doing what I'm doing. Levy, my Leviathan box set is staring at me grudgingly from the shelf right now. I need to crack it open. That's the first step. Yeah, so the sequence is a bit different in the video, because in the video, when I do the tutorials, I'm thinking more about teaching. Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Yeah, so the tutorials that I make, it's always about how I'm going to teach you guys and what's going to be the best sequence to do that. But in reality, I might change it up a bit. So in the video, I left the gun pretty late, whereas I've actually done all the glazing for the weapons before I did the wash. So the wash can sort of get in and shade that as well. And then obviously, if I do it early enough, I can get in, because it's quite difficult to get in here. But at least I can spend some time tidying up before I do that wash. So that's the only thing I kind of really changed from the video. With the carapace as well, I'm going to be doing Barracknard Burgundy, and then I'll probably just do a normal oil wash, whereas in the video I do a recessed shade of Abaddon Black. I'm just changing it to a wash, just, I don't know, just for time's sake really, because I don't really want to spend time recessing 20 gaunts. So we'll get started. Quite weird doing a stream in the morning. It feels like the evening still. It feels like I've not gone to bed. So after today, the next live stream's probably going to be in a couple of weeks' time, like 2 weeks Sunday, just because I'm going to be quite busy over the next couple of weeks. Wondering Modeler, I have to agree, there's something about brush painting that makes it more personal touch. To feel more connected with your army when playing Warhammer, a real sense of pride. No, I agree. It's like when people commission other people to paint miniatures. I don't think I could ever do that. Just because I like knowing I've painted them myself. So I'm just using a wet palette. I would have carried on doing the Imperial Fists, but the next couple of bits are just going to be a bit too finicky. I've used army painted products before. I didn't really get on with them very well though, to be honest. But because I'm just used to using the Citadel paints, I think they're quite different. And if you're used to using one brand, then because paint brands, they act and behave very differently. They're all made differently. Russell, I have a problem. I use speed paint and Games Workshop paint. My problem is speed paint in my Games Workshop. Yeah, that's you can have that because there's obviously different chemicals. So I think the speed paints from Army Painter, I think they might have something corrosive in there that'll eat at the acrylic paint. And you'll find that as well with a lot of different paint brands, especially if you're like in the scale model world, you use thinners and stuff like that, and sometimes a thinner might react to a paint badly and it might curdle. Wolf Samurai, evening from Australia, good evening. I'm glad you could join us. One reason I want to try and do a bit of an early stream because I've got quite a few people from like Australia, Korea, Japan, those sort of areas, so hopefully give them a chance to sort of catch a live stream. Floor Juice, do you still use Citadel white paints for your personal stuff, or is it just for the tutorials? Even outside the tutorials, I use Citadel paints. Just because I've got them, I don't really want to spend more money on even more paints. And when people say paints behave better, it's probably a minuscule difference. Because I know a lot of people rave about the titanium white. But when paints are like that, they're going to be they're going to have a high pigment in them. And they're going to be very chalky. So they go down really well. Yeah, they can be very chalky. And you can tell when they're high pigmented. It's just the way they dry. So you need to use a lot of water to thin them down. Whereas I think Citadel paints have a nice sort of middle ground. I just think they've got a nice finish. So if you've ever used Corax white, that's very high pigmented, because that's a white that goes down really well. But again, you need to thin it down more than you normally would. And then you have to do maybe like an extra layer than you normally would, just to get a nice finish instead of a chalky finish. Because a lot of people will say Corax white gives it, they don't like the finish it gives, but you just need to thin it down. Andy, have you ever done the Airfix English Electric Lightning? My Palace models that flies at RC model airstrip really is a sight. I do like the Electric Lightning. That's a kit. I think they used to have it in a starter set. I've not seen it recently. I don't think there's one available on their site at the minute. I could probably get one third party. But there's I wouldn't mind doing a 1/48 scale one of that. But the Lightning's one of my favourite jets. Levy, I've switched over to Vallejo model colour for white and find it much better. All my Citadel whites, apart from the old school white, have kind of globbed together. Yeah, the old mixtures for Citadel Paints. See, here's something you shouldn't really do, especially with Citadel Paints, is leave the pot open, because all the water or the medium that the paint's sort of mixed with evaporates. So as time goes by, obviously the paint's going to be thicker, and that's what causes the paint pots to become difficult to close if you leave them open, because obviously the paint's going to build up around the back. So if you leave it open, it dries and then you can't close it properly. But if you get your paint out, close the lid, it's fine. Night Shift, hello. Is this the first live stream you've joined us on? So yeah, that's what I recommend, is close the lid and then or just add water now and again, or just add some Lamy medium. Vallejo model colours are great. I do use some of those. I'm very impressed. And they're a good price as well. I haven't even put paint on a model yet. And I've got a good Vallejo, have a good variety. If I didn't use Citadel Paints, I'd probably use Vallejo. Just because they're well established brand. Oh, I'm sure you don't need. So I'm using Baraknar Burgundy. You can see. Painting the base colours is always like the most time consuming part. You just can't rush it. There's no quick way to do it. Sowley47, hey mate, checking in from Australia. I followed your Imperial Fist video and the Cassandora yellow was a bit patchy. Did I not thin it down enough? Also, what's a decent touch-up paint for Imperial Fists? What with washes, if you've watched my recent one and you're doing the Lamy medium Cassandora mix, it is going to be patchy. But the important thing is that you keep an eye on it as it dries and you sort of take away any excess where it's pooling up too much. And you try not to mess with it too much, moving it about. And just let it dry. But you are going to get a little bit. But for me, I quite like that because it adds interest. Because a lot of people spend time adding that kind of interest doing glazing. And then when you've done the highlights and stuff, it kind of distracts from that anyway. But if the Cassandora yellow does bother you, you could just use normal Cassandora yellow as a recess shade, but what you'll need to do is do a second layer of Imperial Fist yellow. It's not going to be as golden, but you're not going to get that. It's going to look cleaner. But with a wash, it's just a lot quicker and it's a lot more friendly. You don't have to really think too much about it. James Dorwood, good morning, welcome back. I've had to buy some too thin coat paints lately because my local shop hasn't had the Citadel in stock. They're not bad from what I've used so far. Yeah, the too thin paints aren't too bad. There are some issues with those. I'm not sure, because obviously I got the first wave from the people who made it to sort of show you guys. But I found, because those paints are very high pigmented. I say in my video that they've got a lot of pigment in them, so you do need to thin them down quite a lot. And they do have the issue of chalkiness. And the other thing with their shades, they separate very quickly, so you need to keep shaking them up. But I don't know if like formulas have changed since then, because obviously they're on the third wave now. The Werewolf Gamer, hello, good morning. I'm struggling sticking with the colour scheme for choosing one, but one I came up with was dark tan shell with light tan skin. Is this for a chapter? It can be difficult coming up with your own chapter scheme. That's something you really have to sort of spend time figuring out before you commit. That's kind of why I just sort of go with default colours that already exist. Oh, the NIDs. Have you seen the I think they're called like the crab Tyranids, where they're like spotted. Quite like that colour scheme. And they're like a tan and dark brown. Mini Bang, good morning. I'm good, thank you. It feels like I'm still here from last night. Alex Cook, yes, this is a wet palette. I never used to use one. But I'm glad I switched. And the reason I switched was just because I got fed up of the paint drying, and I kept having to sort of mix it up. So I think a wet palette is more just quality of life than anything. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't make you a better painter. It's just quality of life. But this is I've got a couple of these. These are like £6. But you can make your own from just like a tub, paper towel and baking paper. So Mini Bang, the time I start, I've been, well, what time is it now? I've been live for about half an hour, but I was finishing up I was working on the Imperial Fist again this morning. So I probably started painting about 8:30. So I usually wake up about 5:30, 6 o'clock. But I finished doing the washes for the last two on the Imperial Fist. I tidied a bit up. I did some recess shading with Cassandora yellow, just to darken some of the recesses where I felt it needed it. So I'll probably need to go in again on just under that knee pad, just to bring it out more. And then I did the trims this morning and tidied them up. I don't usually start painting at 8:30. But because I knew I was streaming, I just sort of wanted to warm painting up before I got on stream. So now I'm working on just the carapace for gaunts. Normally if I was painting, I'd be painting like this, but Links and yo, your Dark Angel Space Marines and Deathwing Knights have really helped me build my army. Thanks for that. I'm glad. I want to do some I want to do Inner Circle and the Line next year. I know it can be frustrating for people if I do a lot of Space Marine tutorials, but there's just a lot of Space Marine stuff to paint. But I do want to paint the Lion. I want to do all the Primarchs eventually. So I want to do the Lion first. Gulliman, just because obviously I've got loads of Ultramarine stuff anyway. Now you've got all the Demon Primarchs out, the major legions. I'm going to be off camera a couple of times, sorry. Usually I'd wear like a pair of reading glasses, but I won't be able to read anything then. Yeah, I want to do the Inner Circle, will be really interesting to do. Noah's Random Clips, hello. It would be awesome to see a video of you painting the Lion. I agree. I know there's a lot of painting tutorials out there, but I think it would just be nice just to have a display, for display for myself as well. And the only way I'm going to paint him to that level is for a video. I think doing like Inner Circle and the Lion as a one after the other would be quite good. The Werewolf Gamer. I also have Space Wolves, which are silver metal and bronze armor. I'm a big fan of metallic colour schemes for Marines because they're really quick to do. Like I did in the Ultramarine video, I did like a metallic version for that. You see a lot of that for a lot of chapters. So I've seen it for like Salamanders, Dark Angels, Blood Angels. But that's a very beginner-friendly colour scheme to do as a metallic metal. There's someone saying last night about what's the best army to collect for painting as a beginner. But you can make any army more beginner friendly. It's just how you decide to paint them. Have a plan. Mini Bang, have you started getting used to streaming a bit more now because your face isn't as red as you? I think that's just the coloration in the camera. I am, yeah. I think I like this setup a bit more. It's a bit more relaxed than the other way, because the other way I felt a bit more pressured, I guess. But this way, it's just a bit more chill. It's just like hanging out and painting, rather than being on, like having to entertain in a way. But I still want to do the other types of streams as well, because I do like looking at the news and what's coming up as well, so I'll probably do one at the end of January for that. For these kinds of streams I can just sort of put more in detail about the hobby, techniques. Because with the other way of streaming as well, I've noticed when I'm showing something or talking, a lot of people don't chat, and a lot of people don't sort of engage in the chat. They're just sort of sitting there watching. It's very unsettling when no one's talking. It's just a lot easier just to sort of bounce off what you guys are saying. Oh no, I know you didn't mean anything personal. I was thinking maybe sort of in the middle of the year, see if there's anybody in the Warhammer YouTube world who would want to join me on a stream for a chat or something. Hang out. I think my number one person would be the War Hipster. He does some fun streams. And this is the kind of thing he does anyway. I've always liked his content. He's always been very helpful for me as well, so I've asked him a couple of questions. Might ask him. I think it'd be good to sort of get him to talk about contrast paints as well. Obviously, you know, what I've learned from contrast paints, I've pretty much learned from War Hipster. I've got a lad I used to know up in the northeast who started a battle report channel recently as well called Warhammered. I think it'd be quite interesting to talk to him about that channel and sort of like the gaming side of things where I'm quite weak. And the training he's got on that channel is amazing. I don't know how he's sort of accumulated it. Like Gamer, hello. I have to say your video helped me a lot when I started painting a few months ago. I'm really glad. Thank you for being a member as well. Really appreciated. Yeah, so if you haven't seen the gaming channel I'm talking about, it's Warhammered. Things like War_Hammered. He's a really sort of muscular guy, but he's a good lad. I used to know him when I worked for the Games Workshop in Middlesbrough. I think he worked in that store later, but he's a great painter as well, from what I remember. But I wouldn't might message him to tell him to get set up for talking on a live stream. I think he started his channel earlier this year. It's doing really well. It's just funny watching it because a lot of people that he plays the games with, I know. Oh, hang on, give me a minute. I've got to let my cat back in. Don't know if you can hear her. Yeah, but on that channel they do Age of Sigmar, Lord of the Rings, 40k. It'd be really good to see their channel get bigger. That's something I don't really get a chance to do, is play a lot of games. I play here and there. Lee. One. So it's just the first layer. I think you're going to end up having to do 2. But I'll keep working separate ones. I'm gonna have to throw you out. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's very vocal. Mosif, good morning. Happy holidays to you as well. I hope everyone's been enjoying this sort of time. I know it can be really chaotic. It ruins my routine. I'm a very routine-based person, so there's always like a lot of stuff going on. Levi, just followed your Instagram. Appreciate all the tutorials. Definitely helped me get better at painting new things. Thank you. I haven't forgot. I don't post very often on Instagram or TikTok, but that's something I'm going to do. I've got to put all my shorts up on there. It's just finding the space to sort of manage those two as well. Mini Bang, I'm thinking of making a YouTube channel about my painting hobby, and I'm wondering if you have any tips. Yeah. It depends what you want to get out of it. What's the end game? Is it just for fun? You want to make something of it? Because you've got to go in with a plan. If it was just for fun, then just do that. And if you're doing it because you want to make something of it, I think branding's very important. Like the first thing I figured out was the TableTopReady brand. Obviously, you can just have the channel as your name if you wanted, but then it's just because you have to think no matter what you're doing, the main goal is to get an audience. So you need to be attractive to that audience if you want to grow it. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing, you're going to be either providing a product or a service. They're the two reasons that people are going to stick around. Is because you give them something, and those are the basic two things. So I don't really offer a product, mine's a service, so I do painting tutorials. Maybe in the future I'll do products, but the focus is service. And the idea is hopefully you do a good enough job that people will support you and stick around. Because I did a lot of work in hospitality before I did YouTube as a full-time job. So I was a manager in a restaurant, I've worked in bars, etc. So I've done a lot of customer service, and I kind of apply that to this. And obviously you got to be passionate about the content you create, about the theme of the content. So I love painting miniatures. So painting miniatures is the thing that you think about when you wake up in the morning. And that's the right goal, the right thing to do. But even as a hobby, you should take it seriously. I know a lot of YouTubers are like, I'll just have fun with it. They didn't take it really seriously. To be honest with you, they did take it seriously. Hybrid Panda, good morning. And YouTube's a different game now, and there's so much competition. You can't just come into it and half-arse it. James Dorwood, I don't know how to play at all. I just paint. My brother played OG Warhammer in the 90s and always loved looking at the minis. Yeah, you don't have to. You can, like, there's so many ways to enjoy the hobby. So many ways to enjoy the hobby. The lore, computer games, painting. Abagika, hello. Welcome to the stream. You didn't know there was a stream right now? Yeah, it's a lot earlier than I would usually do. So people sort of over in the east, like Australia. Isn't that funny how people over here say Australia rather than Australia? Australia. People always make fun of me for that. Australia. But people in like Japan, Korea, Australia, I thought I'd give them an opportunity to join me in a stream. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves over this holiday season. I didn't mean that to sound so aggressive, sorry. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves over this holiday season. Oh, what I was talking about now. Yeah, so all through my life, I've done retail. I've done a lot of graphic work and some animation. That's why I have a lot of graphics on the channel, because I do a lot of that. I did a lot of that in my spare time anyway. That's kind of what I wanted to go into originally. But it's just funny. I feel like all the things I've done throughout my life have all sort of culminated together and allowed me to do this channel. I think that's how life works sometimes. So everything you learn in life doesn't go to waste. Always be learning. I want to see how you paint the tummy area. I always struggle with the bases being in the way. Well, let's talk about that now then. So with these, I don't know, I'm pulling one from over there. So with these gaunts here, obviously these are push fit. You can't really do them in I wouldn't do these in sub assemblies anyway, because you're going to end up painting so many. For your base colours, especially if you're doing like the Wraithbone to start with, you're just going to have to sort of brute force your way in like this. It's something the SAS will probably tell you, but you need to find the optimum way of getting in somewhere. That's why I like using like the plastic shot glasses or the Jenga blocks for this. It gives you something to hold on to, and you can rotate the miniature and move it around. So for here, it's going to be really difficult to get into the under the arms. So you just sort of have to hope for the best and sort of keep getting in there. And look, see, okay, I need that bit there. Go in again like that. You're going to ruin, you're obviously going to mess up your brush. So you can have a look here. Bit focus. But this is quite like a frayed brush. So something like that's fine. Because you're only worried, you're not going to be doing any sort of delicate work, but you're just getting in there. And you're just going to have to expect to be messy. So you can spend some time after just neatening up. Because you don't have to worry about highlighting anything in there. The most important thing is to get that wash in there and getting the Wraithbone in there. But I wouldn't do too much highlighting. But yeah, it's just a case of just finding a way to get your brush in and just move it around until you feel like there's paint on the miniature. Because you're fine as long as there's no undercoat showing or plastic showing, basically, you're fine. Get away with a lot. James Dorwood, I've inherited some nice 90s minis though, mainly orcs and goblins, but a few chaos dwarfs and hobgoblins too. I'll try and send some into the show. Yeah, definitely send some pictures. I love the classic orcs and goblin miniatures. Because that's used to be the fantasy army that I always used to play. So I've got the Night Goblin army now. And I'll work on the chaos, but I do want an orc and goblin army as well. VJ, I'm just passing by to say thank you for your content. Your videos are amazing. You're one of my go-to when I make paint schemes. Want to say more, but YouTube don't let me. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Happy holidays to you as well. And thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Hybrid Paints. Painted up a Tyranid army last year and enjoyed a ton of your videos over the year also. I'm glad. I'm hoping that it doesn't matter what faction you're painting, you can sort of get something out of my painting videos. Because I like just to watch painting videos out of enjoyment and seeing how people do it. And you're proud owner of a set of Jenga bricks. Yeah, they make a huge difference, and just these plastic shot glasses as well. If you've got bases on the miniatures, this makes painting so much more comfortable, and you drop the miniature less. So there is no super secret technique. I did the same thing you just said. You'll probably find that most of the time, the idea that you come up with yourself is usually the right way. If there is a secret super technique, no one's told me that either. I'll keep asking around. No, I haven't done on these. I haven't painted the legs. Mini Bang, I would recommend if you have the money that you buy a Da Vinci Maestro size 2-in-1. The tips are beautiful. With my biggest brush I managed to paint the eyes on my minis. I've not heard of those brushes. I'm always looking at brushes and I think to myself, is this the time where I branch out and try some new brushes again? Because I used to use different brushes. I always just found that it doesn't matter what brushes you buy. It's probably because the way I paint, I'm a very rough and ready painter. I don't treat my brushes very well. As long as I get the job done. Oh. There you go, I knocked my miniature there, I've got some paint on it, so do. You get in there a bit of water quickly, fine. What I've attached the gaunt to the shot glass with. This is this blue tack. So this is the stuff you stick your posters to the wall with. Or you can use double-sided tape. I find that double-sided tape is like a one-use only thing though. I used to use double-sided tape for the Jenga blocks, but I'd have to keep doing it, and it wouldn't be very secure either. That's why I use super glue to attach the Jenga blocks and the blue tack to attach to these. Obviously you don't want to super glue your base chocolate. Floor juice, good morning. I find that there can be a lot of dust getting stuck when my paint is drying. How do you prevent this? Maybe I just forgot to check up on my rubrics. If you're having trouble with particles or dust or hairs or something like that, you can get an anti-static brush whilst you're painting, and that will just help get rid of all of that debris and the dust and stuff. That's what I'll use for mine when I'm filming. Obviously I don't want to film there being like hairs and dust and stuff, because you can really see it. Yeah, just use an anti-static brush. You can get them off Amazon pretty cheap. But make sure you keep, because they'll usually come with like a cover, make sure you keep them covered when you're not using them. And when they do lose their ability, their anti-static ability, so you do need to change them up now and again. Wondering model, I use two brands of brushes. First is the Citadel ones to support my local Warhammer store, and the second is ABC brushes, equally great quality and very budget friendly. Not heard of that brand either. There's I don't know if they're worldwide, but there's a company called Expo Tools. They've got a website where you can buy brushes. I think they're I don't know what you'd call that kind of place. Like, do you know, like a Costco? But you can go onto the website, you can obviously just buy stuff. Quite cheap, and they're really good brushes, Expo Tools. There's a lot of the stores where they do stock them, they're always out of stock because they're so popular. I would rate them over Citadel. Well, Citadel brushes are very hit and miss. The Expo brushes are really good. They're very usable. The Christmas from my parents, I got a D&D starter set and began painting that. Then from my grandparents on Boxing Day, I got another one. So 2 D&D sets. I have done D&D in the past, and I wouldn't mind getting back into it in the new year. I was thinking about treating myself to the starter set, running a campaign. So I enjoy running games and going a bit overboard. Yeah, I'm just a natural entertainer, I guess. By Geek, I use a makeup brush to dust them. The powder brush is soft and cleans them up nice, but I guess you guys don't have many like that. No. Yeah, I think like a makeup brush is kind of an anti-static brush, generally anyway, in how they work. Especially if they've got like the longer bristles. I know people like to use them for dry brushing as well. What army projects are people hoping to get done this year or next year? When I say this year, I mean to 2025. You know what I mean. So obviously, I've just started my Imperial Fists. In the week, I got the 40k starter set. I did buy the Age of Sigmar starter set as well for some videos. That means I've got more Tyranids to get painted. I think I want to get my Warriors of Chaos army done. I want to do an old world Skaven army using all the new miniatures as well. I want to do Iron Jaws for Age of Sigmar. I've also got a Black Legion arm. I've got a lot of projects on the go. Obviously I've got orcs. I've always got orcs to paint. By RUEU, it's 3:30 AM here in the States. Yes, I am. I'm in the UK, the centre of England. So it's currently 11:30 here, morning, in the AM. I thought I'd do an earlier stream, just to give more people a chance to come in, rather than me doing this in the evening and everyone being in bed. Gene Stealer Cult Army. I'd love to do Gene Stealer Cult Army. Maybe one day. Thinking about buying the Skaven type box would give me a lot of minutes for the money. Yeah, the Skaven. You probably still can get the Skaven type box. But I got the £67 starter box, which is probably the best value for me. Hoping they might bring back the Savage Orcs miniatures for the old world, because they obviously took them off sale for Age of Sigmar. That was my plan, to do Savage Orc army. Literally just announced they're being removed from the range. Usually I'll be wearing a pair of reading glasses or magnifiers. But it's a bit difficult, obviously, with the streaming setup, to see everything. But I'm just... I've been working on my first armies, a mix of guards, space marines and sororitas, because I hate myself. They've been hella useful. Currently trying to figure out how to do knight-like space marines. So obviously you got Bretonia. You've got you want to do like a knight themed army. Obviously you've got the Black Templars. They've got the tabard. You could obviously, you don't have to paint them as Black Templars. You could do a different colour scheme for those. Grey Knights are fun as well. Hoping they don't bring a new Grey Knight range out this year, because I want to do an army of those. James, my local shop has a couple. Think Element Games still has some too. Oh yeah, the Skaven box, the Skaven Tide box. That's interesting. I've not seen any lying around in person still. I think I would have bought one over the starter box, because I didn't get one release. I wasn't too interested. Couldn't really afford that box, I suppose, because I had other things I needed to buy. Because I didn't plan on making content for it. I couldn't justify just buying it. I still haven't finished fully painting the Leviathan box, to be fair. Robert Henderson, what do you think of the Fulgrim model? My chance of a Primarch tutorial. Any chance for a Primarch tutorial in the future? Yeah, it's an amazing miniature. I mean, I knew I was gonna like it. I do want to. The idea is that I would do all the Primarchs. So hopefully I'm going to do the Lion sometime this year, and then work from there. I'll try not to do tutorials on stuff that everyone's going to be doing at that same time as well. So I'll try and just sort of work with whatever I'm sort of in the mood to work with, rather than trying to. I know I do. So if a new chapter's sort of released, or a big release, say like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, I'll do those. But I think just painting chapters is fine. But a giant model like that, I'll probably leave maybe 6 months just to clear the backlog. Just because the way the algorithm works, there's already going to be very popular videos for that miniature. So like if I did one, my video will be backseated. Favor of a video that's already doing well, because that's just how the algorithm works. That's why I don't try and keep up with what's new. But I would do Fulgrim, and I think he's an amazing miniature. But I want to do the Lion first. I quite like Mortarion, so I might do Mortarion. I think he'll be a very epic tutorial to make. I would probably do him in the Pallet hand colour scheme, like I've done the Kill Team. That's how I would do my own personal Death Guard. So I'd paint him so I could use him in an army that I was collecting. Bogika, I'm finishing up my World Eaters Combat Patrol, then start to make a nice army of them. Yeah, I really like the World Eater. I know I said I wasn't a fan of full Angron, but I am now. The only thing I wish that range had were Khorne Terminators. I think they missed the boat with that. So hopefully you might see maybe a box for kill team. I know you've got like the Berserker ones. And something that frustrates me with the Chaos Armies, that you can't really use demons with them. Like, I'd want to use Bloodletters with Khorne Berserkers. There's some Savage Orcs in the load I got from my brother. Ball Boys and Musicians. I would keep hold of those. Don't know when they're coming back. Wandering Modeler. I find myself in a difficult position being torn between buying 240k armies or buying into Kill Team. I just can't decide. You can buy a unit from each of those 40k armies, use them for Kill Team and just expand. I think that's really kind of what Kill Team's good for. So you get the best of both worlds. And then, depending on how you like painting and building and playing with them in Kill Team, it'll go from there. Like for me personally, if I'm collecting an army, I've got to foremost, it's, am I going to enjoy painting? I mean, the army and the rules are secondary. How they play in a game. Probably why I don't really win many games. Do they still have Berserkers on Juggernaut? World Eaters don't need Terminators, they have 8 bound. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They've got like the big brutish Berserkers. But just for aesthetic reasons, you want Terminators. Just because they're Terminators. But I think finally settled on how I want to do the Knightly Marines with Grey Knight colour schemes and Black Templar models. I think I want to try to paint like fancy medieval designs. That'd be quite interesting. Have a look at the transfers, see if there's any transfers out in the world that you could use. Especially on like Etsy, you could probably get custom transfers made, just so you're not freehanding everything. Also, if the rumours are true, you're in luck. The talk is that Chaos Demons get folded into Chaos Space Marine. I really hope so, because I think that's the only thing stopping me. Because when I first started in 40k, Chaos was the army that I collected because I could have a lot of different things, like Great Demons, Marines. That's what because I used to just do Black Legion, because I could have like some Khorne Berserkers, Plague Marine, Thousand Suns, I could have Great Demons. But you're just very restricted now. I just don't think that's how it works in the lore either. So what I'm using for the carapace, it's Barracknar Burgundy. So it's like a dark purple for the carapace. So there is a tutorial for these guys on the channel. If you want a more sort of in-depth guide to how to paint these guys. These are just for my own army. I've just been sitting on my shelf for a while that I wanted to get done. Total win already done with the Imperial Fists, or are you just painting something different for some variation? I'm not done with the Imperial Fist. I finished doing the washes this morning and I've tidied a few bits up and I've done the trim, and I'll carry on working on these later tonight. But the reason I haven't done these on screen today is just because the bits that need doing now are very finicky. So like getting all the ribbed areas between the armoured and the trim, I just want to be able to sort of concentrate and focus. So I thought I'll get the Tyranids out because I've just got to paint the carapace for these guys. And it's not too difficult to do. I don't really have to concentrate. Yes please, Halbrick and Emperor's Champion as well. I do want to do Halbrick. I don't think I'd need to do the Emperor's Champion much, but Halbrick, just because I've done like an Emperor's Champion, I think painted like a normal Black Templar, I think you can get away with what I've done for that, but Halbrick I think would be worth doing. But there's a lot of characters I kind of need to do. I should probably do all the main characters for the chapters eventually. There's still a lot normal marine units to do, so I want to do the Blade Guard probably April time, and that's just because I really like the miniatures and how they look. And obviously with Secret Level and Space Marine 2, they just seem to be a unit that's in a lot of content, so I really need to have a tutorial for them on the channel. So like the Chaplain video, the general Ultramarine video does really well. Gulliman's about to go up. I should probably do some Thousand Suns as well, really. But I'll probably do like a series of Chaos tutorials when the Emperor's Children range comes out. So I'll do Khorne Berserkers, Thousand Suns, just kind of catch up really on stuff that should be on the channel already. I also need to do this year, by the end of the year, I want to do Mechanicus. I really should do Votan. A lot of people ask me for Votan tutorial. But I'm just not that excited about the Votan. I'd rather do squats from Necromunda. That's what the Votan should have been. Don't know why they went down the different path. Minibang have a Tiefling Warlock from my D&D starter set, and to make it look like somebody exploded because of his magic, I put some blood effects on his base, just in front of him. Yeah, if you use Blood for the Blood God, that's quite good. The Blood for the Blood God is a very good sort of medium that looks like blood. If I'm going to do 1,000 Suns, I recommend the Sorcerer's ridiculously detailed minis. That's probably why I probably wouldn't do them. I don't know, I'll obviously just do the basic 1,000 Sun miniature. Maybe Ahriman. I think Ahriman would be quite fun to do. I think Ahriman's my favourite, one of my favourite characters in the lore. Tzeentch was my god of choice for chaos. Ahriman was one of my favourite characters. Because I had a like Thousand Suns weren't always available, especially like 3rd edition, 4th edition. You had to convert your own. What I used to do, I had the old plastic berserkers. You'd file down the front the ornamentation on the helmet, and you green stuff the gap, and you'd sort of make the headdress lines. That's how I made my Thousand Suns. You obviously had to have some bolters from somewhere, but if you bought like a Chaos Space Marine kit, you got, I think you got like pistols and close combat weapons. So you do close combat weapons for your Marines, then you take the bolters and bolter arms, and obviously you'd have to chop away all the the Khorne Berserker iconography. But at the time, they looked good. Then they brought out the conversion kit. Vex, thank you for the tutorials on completing my 2k Ultramarines army with your paint guides. You'd have to send me some pictures. I'm going to be doing a showcase at the end of January, hopefully. So if anyone wants to send me stuff, to send it to the email. Camera. I think that's really good blood effect, but I actually use Army Painter's Fanatic True Blood effect. I've not. Didn't know they did it. But yeah, there's definitely blood effects out there that you can use. We're very spoilt for products in the mini painting world. Vex, also the first Space Marine I painted was following your video on how to get started with Warhammer 40,000. Yeah, that's an important video for the channel, I think. For getting started. And I spent a lot of time sort of figuring that video out and what to do for it. I wanted it to be a guide that you can buy the products that are suggested in it and follow the tutorial along, rather than just being a video you watch. Hello, good evening here. It will be a good lunch there. Oh, thank you. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you can join us. So that's why I wanted to do like a daytime stream. I'm just painting some gaunts. At the moment, I think I've painted 2 so far. I'm on my 3rd one now. And obviously I keep saying I'll tend to paint a bit faster than this. Just obviously it's quite far away, it's quite awkward. Robert Henderson, same here. Vex, the Ultramarines versus Neurons one. $6 AM already, or is that in the past or the future AM? Must be in the west. I want to go see War of the Rohirrim still. Don't know if anyone's seen it yet. I'm going to be doing a Paint Your First Miniatures Age of Sigmar edition. February. After I've done the Skaven and Storm cast from the start box. I'm going to be doing the 3 videos. Charlotte, welcome back to the stream. Hello. Your video is one of the best on YouTube for nervous beginners. If I tried to follow the official Warhammer ones, I would quit by now. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I owe a lot to the format of my videos to some of the Airfix videos when they've done their start, like, because you can obviously buy this Airfix start videos. If you go on their channel a long time ago, the way they made their tutorials was so user friendly, and it showed you how to get the most out of what those products you buy. So obviously in that beginner video, I get the paint set and I get the magazine. And really, it's more about. It's not about painting the best miniatures you can get. It's about an introduction to the hobby to see if you like it. I don't want to be saying, oh, you need to buy a whole army first. You need to spend £300, because you might not get the most out of it then. You don't really know what you're doing at that stage, so it's kind of just dipping your toe in and trying it out. The best value for me is the paint set and that magazine, because I like the magazine as well, because it tells you about the background of the hobby and what to expect from the hobby. So you get a taste of both the painting from that point of view as well. I think you get enough paint in the paint set where you can end up with some really nice miniatures. Because I know you've got the introductory set with both the Space Marines and Tyranids, but you only get like 4 paints and you can't really do a lot. I didn't really want to be saying, but you also need to buy these paints and these brushes, and kind of defeat the object. I know I suggest the extra brushes in the video, but I wouldn't have done that if the starter brush in the paints and tool set wasn't so bad. But I don't know why they couldn't just put like a medium brush in there. That starter brush in that paints and tool set, I wouldn't give it away. It's good for like washes, maybe a bit of dry brushing, but you can't really do much more than that with it. Perturbo's release isn't Demon Primarch. Oh, they're bringing out Perturbo as well. Is that a rumour? That's quite a strange one. If they're bringing out Perturabo, then they've got to be bringing out Dawn. Fact. As much as I am a huge Imperial Fist fan, I don't see how bringing Dawn back at this moment is going to really add anything. In terms of lore-wise, I'd rather much see maybe like Vulcan, or Russ, or Jagakai Khan, I think that's his name. I think they're more interesting characters than Dawn. Because you've already got a Dawn-esque character in Reboot Gulliman. I know they come at things from a different angle, but it's still... Dawn is still alive. Dawn is alive. Dawn lives. They retconned it, so he's alive. They only found his hand. About to start an Empire of Man army, and we'll have about 90 troops to paint. Any advice? Yeah, contrast paints. Use contrast paints, honestly. If you want an idea of how to approach painting like a fantasy army, go watch my Night Goblin army. I talk about sort of painting large armies and that. Regardless of that, it is Night Goblins, but the approach will still be the same. I want to do an Empire man. I want to do an Empire army. And I'll use contrast paints. Especially because you get bright colours with the Empire, like the Empire uniforms. So just do like a white and get the white scar undercoat going, and just do some contrast over that. You'll get them painted in no time. You don't even really need to do highlights. You can if you want, but you could just leave that for the bigger main characters and monsters. What's the freakiest thing you've seen around your house? Oh, outside my house or inside my house? It's not. Pretty quiet around here. I'm pretty sure there's a demon haunting me. Because things keep moving. Charlotte, my Warhammer store taught me to edge highlight most things by doing your base colour, the bit of borax white to lighten it. No need to buy 101 separate colours. Very true. The reason I like to have the different colours is just for consistency. If you're doing a lot of highlighting, it can be a bit frustrating to keep going in and having to mix that colour. So there's benefits to both. If you are on a budget and you're trying to save a bit of money, by all means just mix the lighter colour. And that's what I show in the videos. If you're going to be doing like say like an army of Ultramarines, it might just be worth spending that £3 on some Calgar blue for peace of mind. Because pots of paints aren't one use only; they're an paints are an investment, more so than like brushes and other equipment, because you can use them for a lot of things. I'm listening to a podcast called Fall of Civilizations right now. I forgot that the Primarch of the White Scars is named after Genghis Khan, Khan's son. I didn't know. I knew that. That was the theme of the White Scars, like Mongolians. I like histories of civilization. Very big on like Babylonia and obviously Egypt, sort of very early sort of civilizations. Big fan of those. What state would you do for Empire? I'll probably, I'm not sure of the names of but I'll probably do white and blue. I'll do white and a colour. I think I'll try and avoid doing yellow because I paint everything yellow. So I think I'll do white and blue. It's a nice cool colour. Because I usually do warm colours, like reds, oranges, yellows. Cheeseburger the second. I've just asked that. Sorry. Inside, yeah, I think there's a demon inside my house that haunts me. Yeah, definitely. If you're just doing like one miniature here and there, or just having a practice or trying out a scheme, then just mixing colours is absolutely fine. As long as you know you need it. Tominator, how long do I paint for? So just in general, because obviously I've got the YouTube channel, I make the tutorials. If I'm not doing a lot of editing at the time, I'll tend to do about 6 or 7 hours of painting every day. If you're asking how long it takes to paint a miniature, it depends. So if I'm doing a miniature for the channel, so if I'm painting, say, like 5 Space Marines, that could probably take 6 or 7 days to do. So usually about a week. Yeah, so I'd say about a week to do, say, 5 miniatures is usually the average to the standard that I paint miniatures to on the channel to. But there are obviously quicker ways to do it. So a lot of my personal armies, I use more contrasts now, just because they're quicker to use and I can get like a style that I really like. And I might do like 5 miniatures in 3 days rather than 5. Cheeseburger the Second. Oh, Charlotte, sorry, it's a great podcast, check it out. They only upload twice a year, but it's quality over quantity. What's the name of the podcast? Lionel Johnson is actually named after a famous homosexual poet called Lionel Johnson, whose poem The Dark Angel was about his unresolved feelings towards his male peers. I didn't know that. You'd imagine that everything's sort of based off something, I guess. Mini Bang, there was one time my dog Monty was growling at my back door, so I went to check what it was. As I went into my kitchen, the mugs on my mug holder started shaking. Yeah, it's a crazy world, you don't know what's out there. I've had, when I was younger, I was up in my room, I heard a noise. I was at my friend's house actually. His room, we were playing on, like just playing on a console, and we heard a bang. We come down, all the drawers and cupboard doors are open. Scary. So the actual podcast is called Fall of Civilization. I'll have to give it a check. I'll have to check it out. George Wright, hi Michael and everyone. Is there anything in particular you listen to when painting? Music or podcast? This depends really what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I like to put like Twitch on or something, and I like to put a streamer on. Just 'cause then it feels like there's an actual person with me. Sometimes I'll have an audio book on, and sometimes I might listen to music. So it's just everything. Martin Warburton, good afternoon from Coventry. Hello, Martin. Just about to start work on an Orc Beast Snagger Combat Patrol box. That's a good Combat Patrol box. If I didn't have Snaggers already and more to paint, it's definitely one I would pick up. Yeah, maybe I should pay more fervently to the Emperor. I'm pretty safe, I feel. It's not really caused any harm for me. but I'll do my litanies of faith. The story I heard was that the Primarch of the World Eaters was named after a Nottingham pub landlord with a foul temper nicknamed Angry Ron. Don't know if it's true, but I like the story. That sounds like a story you wouldn't make up though, to be honest. I don't think anyone's that creative. Probably true. Sounds like something you'd hear in Discworld. Charlotte, the story I heard was... Oh, I just read that. I swear, like, my brain just has, like, blind spots. You can tell it's not just the evening where I glitch. Yeah, I'm a big... To go off a Warhammer topic, I'm a big, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of the supernatural, but I like alternative theories. Did Santa bring me anything nice? I bought a lot of miniatures. I bought myself a lot of stuff. But I just feel like I'm at that age now where I don't really get much, to be honest. But I bought myself. I got the 2 starter sets for Age of Sigmar and 40k. I got some... I bought Tor Garridan. I got some Airfix kits for myself. Yeah, I just buy... Because I buy a lot of miniatures. That's mainly it. Did everybody get miniatures and stuff for Christmas? Birds aren't real. Might not be. They're created by the government. Right, I have painted 4 gaunts so far. New record. Posture check, everybody. Vex, I'm starting to paint Gulliman now. Any tips to paint the gold trim lines on his armor? So there's 2 ways you can approach doing something like that. You can either do... You could say, like, a lot of people undercoat their Gulliman gold, and then say do the washes and highlight the gold, and then work on the blue. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Because the gold is so detailed and finicky, it'll be difficult to go in, say, like, do the blue first and then the gold. But if you watch my Black Legion video, I talk about painting trimming that. Water Danes, bought myself the Custodes Battle Force box, 6 bikers to go to Zoomies with. I like the Custodes miniatures still. I've been thinking a lot about redoing their tutorials. They're a bit outdated now. I've got a feeling they might come back in popularity by the end of this year. Because the bikes, I love the bike miniatures. Billy Goat Buff just got this to the stream. Are you not thinning out the base layers? I am, yes. I've got a wet palette. I'll do 50% water. Just that you probably haven't seen me mix yet. I've got to go. Thanks for answering my questions. Best of luck. Thank you very much, Minibang, for coming into the live streams. It's really appreciated. It's always a pleasure. Have a good day. James Dorwood, my wife got me the Nurgle Blood Bowl team and a set of sable brushes. She also bought me the Sassy Nurgling plushie, which gave me a good laugh. Yeah, I like the plushies. You can't buy yourself a plushie. Well, for me, you can't. If someone bought me one, I'd be happy. I love all the Blood Bowl teams. So I've not really ever played Blood Bowl. I'd probably like to get into Necromunda before I got into Blood Bowl. Billy Goat Buff, also thanks for streaming. I've been wanting to see someone paint figurines live. This probably isn't a great example, to be honest with you. I mean, we've been nearly 2 hours and I've done 4, so I've not fully painted these. So all my gaunts started off like this before I started streaming. I've just been painting the carapace, so I've managed to paint like 4 carapace so far. It's a very time-consuming process. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer them. George Wright, going back to the starter brush, the only thing I use for it is getting paint out of the pot. It's too rigid, it's useless for any year. That's a good use for it. Because all the bristles in it aren't the same size as well. Oh yeah, I'm sorry if the gaunt's out of face, because I'm usually painting like that. See if I can move things around. Problem with Blood Bowl is the dice. They're very punishing combined with the rules for what constitutes punishment. I've not even seen a game of Blood Bowl played. I think I played an intro game when they first re-released it. I've never really been a fan of American football. I don't know if that's a prerequisite of doing Blood Bowl. So the paper towel on the left there is to see if the paint has been thinned to your satisfaction. I've got the paper towel because it just allows me to control how much is on the brush. Because if you've got too much paint on the brush, it can sort of get too overwhelming when painting and you don't have as much control. Or I'll use it just after I've like washed my brush out with the water. If you want to test out the consistency of the paint, see if you thinned out much, you sort of want to play with it on the palette, see how it moves about. But you won't really know that until you start actually painting. You can always just adjust as you go along. So with this carapace, there's a lot of recesses and a lot of surface detail. So I'm actually making the paint a tiny bit thinner than normally would go, so it sort of flows a bit better. So I have to do less work. You do have to do more layers though. You do thin your paints more, but it just becomes easier to paint textured surfaces. Hoping to bring back more time at the end of next. As now Old World is popular, I need to bring more time back. Is everyone excited for the new year? Have you got plans at all? I think I'm going to be spending it with some friends. I don't usually tend to do much for the new year. I'm usually just one of these people that like it all to be over and just get back to normality. I just get a bit overwhelmed with everything being up in the air and plans changing. Because honestly, I've not really had too much. I haven't really had any time off. I've still been painting and working every day, but that's what I like to do. I've sort of seen friends and stuff in the evenings. Yeah, it's been I've not really been out and celebrated outside of the house for many years, probably about 10 years, so this is the first time I'm going to be out. I'm hoping it's not going to be too busy. I think Blood Bowl offers interesting alternative figurines for other projects, as does Necromunda. Yeah, I think you're right about that. The Necromunda miniatures they make for Necromunda, my favourite miniatures, especially what they've been producing recently. I think they showed a couple of miniatures where it was like these robotic geisha, like it was like something out of Ghost in the Shell. Now I keep saying this, but I'm a huge fan of the cyberpunk aesthetic. Probably like my favourite theme. James Dorwood, working right through New Year, double time for the first and second, so can't complain. More money for hobby and stuff. Yeah, when I used to like work in the bar, like bars and restaurants and stuff, I always used to work New Year. Because you could sort of celebrate it and earn money at the same time. Because they always tends to be like closed events. There's always just chill. Used to get a lot of tips around this time of year. I'm looking forward to doing a Norn emissary for these guys. I want to do one. I want to paint one for a tutorial. I want to make sure I've got a good amount painted first. I think I've got pretty much half of the Leviathan box painted already. I just need to finish these gaunts, but then I've got another sort of combat patrol to paint, but it shouldn't be too bad. But I think I want to add a Norn emissary to it. I think I'm planning on getting some biovores. I like those miniatures as well. Obviously like a hive tyrant. I'm looking for mostly for the Tyranids. I'm looking forward to painting the new style Leviathan scheme on like the older miniatures that you haven't seen from Games Workshop. There's a lot more with the new Leviathan colour scheme. Obviously, you get a lot more variation in tones across miniatures rather than just everything's the same. James, I load lorries in the supermarket distribution warehouse. Not quite as fun. I think that's probably pretty chill though, to be fair. Kind of job I think I would enjoy. think, yeah, I'm hoping to do, because I'm hoping to continue doing the Imperial Fist. That's my main new army for this year. So last year I did the Night Goblin. This year is going to be the Imperial Fists. So I've got, for the Imperial Fists, if you weren't here last night, I bought the starter set for that. So I've got the 5 Infernus Marines, which I'm painting at the moment, the 5 Terminators and the Captain. So I want to slowly add to that. So I've got Tor Garridan on the way. So I'll pick him up in the new, probably, hoping it'll probably be the day after New Year's Day at this point, on Thursday. And depending on how I'm getting on with Gulliman, I might just have a day off to paint, well, get Tor Garridan started. Because I would have been working on him now, but you can only mail order him, unfortunately. So I had to come up with a different plan, so that's why I bought the starter set as well. Just because it's good value for money. I want to do 3 Outrider bikes with an ABP. And I think heavy intercessors are a must for Imperial Fist. Intercessors and a Terminator Chaplain. I was hoping, because I planned on doing Imperial Fist a couple of years ago, but doing the older Marines with like land speeders and dreadnoughts and stuff, but then they discontinued most of those ranges. So now I'm just sort of working with the Primarchs. Can I paint Captain Badrook in a video? That's a difficult one because his miniature's not available anymore. I've done the flash kits in a video. If they re-release a miniature for Badrook, I would, but it's not really worth doing now, unfortunately, because I would have done him already. He's probably my favourite orc character. But you can watch my flash kits video. There's a lot of stuff in that you can use, because I talk about painting like checkers and freehanding stuff in that as well. I think I've got my Captain. I've got an old Captain Badrook. I'll paint. So here's mine. This is an old metal one. I painted this about 8 years ago. But I've got him ready to sort of updating him and give him a bit of a better paint job. But what I've done, I've actually given him a matte varnish. Because on metal miniatures, obviously, paint can chip off. I've just given them matte varnish because I know I'm going to be painting anyway, so it just helps. But I won't be doing a video, unfortunately. But I do have plans to do Shock Attack Gun 2025. I think that'd be a lot of fun to paint. With a lot of interesting things to do. I know they're quite popular in the game as well at the minute. Because I've got one fully built already that needs painting. I'll probably buy a second one to do in sub-assemblies for the video, so I'll probably paint both of those at the same time. So I've got 2 at the end of it. Have I done all of this one? I have got some purple on the flesh, but I'll probably just go back and neaten things up later. I still want to do an Eldar army, an Eldari army as well. But that'll probably have to wait until the end of the year. I've finished a lot of the projects. At least until I've finished some Imperial Fist. I think Imperial Fists and Orthway Eldar are the two big armies that I've always wanted. I had armies of both in the past, but I just want to sort of revisit them as an adult. Obviously you've got all the Aspect Warriors coming out in the new year as well. Does everybody, what do people think of the Fulgrim, Demon Fulgrim coming out? I think it looks amazing. Do I play to collect or paint only? I do play, but if I'm painting, but my priority is collecting for painting. Playing games with them is secondary. So I like the lore and colour schemes, and that's what attracts me about painting an army. So for the Imperial Fists, they're very stoic. I feel like the Space Marine, the Imperial Fists are true Space Marines. I just love the history of them being the ones to defend the Emperor's Palace during the Horus Heresy. And I think Dawn's my favourite Primarch. I like Jagged Khan and I like Vulcan. They're probably my two favourite Primarch. That's why I'm eager for them to bring those out as miniatures. I think if I wasn't doing Imperial Fists, I'd like to do White Scars. Obviously I like to pick the two most awkward colours to paint, white and yellow. I like the challenge. I'd love a Badrock to add to my collection, so hard to find, and when you do, they're eye-wateringly pricey. They're very pricey, yeah. Out of print miniatures do go massively up in price. I don't know if you've ever seen the when he first originally came out, he was part of a box set with some flash kits, but he came with some like freebooter themed Gretchen as well. And those Gretchen, probably the rarest Warhammer miniatures. Like, you wouldn't be able to find them now. And if you did, so like for like 5 Gretchen miniatures, you're paying over £300, probably up to £500 for them, if not more, if they ever like surface. Because they only ever came out was that box set, and I know they probably about 10 years ago they re-released them again, very briefly. But they're the sort of holy grail for me to have some of those, but I wouldn't pay a lot of money for them. I think it looks like 10,000 years of chaos haven't been kind to it. I don't think so either. Because you've got the Ascended Fulgrim miniature. Or Horus Heresy. And that's quite a large miniature. But there are differences. I suppose you could use either. I think I like the wings better for the Ascended miniature. This new plastic one. Foxhole, I'm working on Eldar right now. What's your craft world? Yeah, the Fulgrim isn't my favourite of the Demon Primarchs. You think Alfarius is Reboot Gulliman? That's interesting. Marathi is better. I'm gonna... You're right there. You know, there's... I feel like... Fulgrim is exactly what I was expecting. And in a way, that's kind of disappointing. I want my expectations... beaten, not matched. I think that's what Angron kind of suffers from, because you kind of know what he was going to look like, the big bloodthirster. Mortarion, when you saw Mortarion, he was like amazing. He still is. Because no one really knew what he was going to look like. Is Alfarius being Reboot Gunman like a fan theory? I've never heard that before. Speaking of the starter set, I really enjoy painting the captain in Terminator armor. Quite a lot going on that miniature. Yeah, I really enjoyed that captain as well. So I've got another one now for my Imperial Fists. Especially when you can sort of go to town on you can do a lot of freehand. Even using like the transfers on the purity seals, you can do a lot to make them really sort of stand out. It just gives you a lot of options to take it further. Sauli, what army would you love to see a full refresh? A full refresh, I'm going to be honest, they should probably redo the Votan. Try again. Make them actual squats. Because I wanted to do a squat army. Not because I'm very nostalgic. I think the squats were already out of it by the time I started the hobby. I'm just going off the aesthetic. Especially from how they are in Necromunda. I would have liked a whole army of that. I don't really like Space Celtic. I think you've already got that with the Space Wolves. They've just literally made them Space Dwarfs, and I think... Well, it's just a personal choice, obviously. They're still amazing looking miniatures. I just feel like they don't know what they are. Me, squats make sense. they were already established in the universe. I would like to see more alternative units for the Tau. Like, obviously they've done the Vespid and the crew. I wouldn't mind like seeing more for that. And I think the Dark Eldar are due some love, because they're still working with a lot of older miniatures. I could never decide on which craft world. Yeah, all the craft worlds are really nice. My personal choice is Orthway. I did a test miniature for my Orthway army here, because this was before I was doing Imperial Fist, so I was going to do an Orthway army. I still am. But just after I've got maybe like 2,000 points of Imperial Fists. And this is just using contrast. So if you've seen the Durham Latham Orthway with like the yellow heads, they're kind of based on that, just because I'm a big fan of the 2nd edition colour schemes. But if I wasn't doing Orthway, I'd do Iandon, just because yellow's my favourite colour. Or Beltan, to be fair. Beltan's nice. But with Beltan you get to use all the aspect warriors. I think Ajuman is probably the character I'm most looking forward to the release of the Eldar. Foxhole, they fought on Escarada, only Gulliman survived and he went right into stasis. Wasn't Gulliman wounded by Fulgrim? And that's why he went into stasis. Ballistic, I hate Votan armor design. Yeah. I mean, that's not too bad, but they do look like Caradron in 40k. I don't like what their Terminators basically look like. But then you look at the new squats that they've released, and they're sort of like Terminators in the way they look. It's just, there's no competition. And if I had enough money, I would get the Necromunda models for the Votan army. Because you could probably still use the vehicles. I think they'll fit quite well with the Necromunda miniatures. It's just the infantry and the characters. I don't like the Space Wizard. Like the Space Wizard dwarf in the robe. They're too fantasy. Oh, Vauxhall, you're doing Iandon. I'll have to. I've not read all the Horus Heresy books. I'll have to have a look. If I had enough time this in 2025, I think I would like to try and get into Necromunda as a game. And if I did, I would like to do a squat painting tutorial. I like the bikes as well. Just the aesthetic for the squats and Necromunda are just so much better. But again, I like that 90s sort of feel. I'm probably going to be about another 10 minutes, so if people got questions they want to ask me, feel free. So I've managed to get 6 gaunts painted this morning, which I'm quite proud of. Walter, I don't feel I have a consistent fine line when I try to paint the power weapons on my custodes. It feels like I'm applying too much pressure sometimes, but otherwise not much paint comes out. Yeah, it's kind of the same for highlighting. You could try using a bigger brush. I know a lot of people use like a medium brush or a size 1 brush. But otherwise, maybe try. You're just gonna have to get used to just constantly getting paint off the palette. I mean, that's what I do. It's like literally paint. It's just like that. There's only so much paint. Only so much paint your brush can hold, and obviously you're using that paint on the miniature, so it's just something you're gonna have to try and sort of like figure out what works best for yourself. But any other suggestions? I would watch my highlighting video. That just talks about generally highlighting and brush control in that. John, I agree about the Votan. I have a couple of the old squats and they have loads of character. Votan could be an offshoot of Space Wolves returning from 10k years lost in the warp. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like their designs for the AI either. I do like those, like their hover bikes though. I do like those. The vehicles aren't too bad. I just prefer the squats. Jackson Rowney just wanted to say big thank you. I got the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol this year and followed your painting guide. Best one on the YouTube in my opinion. Just finished a Dawn. Now onto some Karzakin. Thank you. I'm glad. I would love to paint a Dawn tank for a tutorial, and I probably will. I will one day, because I want to cover camouflage on vehicles in general. That might be one that I kind of do maybe for when the Krieg come out. But the Dawn tank's like £80. Quite an expensive kit, and it's going to be a long time before the tutorial for that kind of makes its money back. That's the only reason. It's just the price of the kit that's kind of stopped me and worrying how popular that video will be. But it's definitely on my list to do, because a lot of people ask for that. The guy on the horse as well. I might do those as a pair, like the Rogel Dawn tank and that character, because they're two very different things to paint and would fit well in with what I've already done. Because I don't think I'm going to be doing any more Krieg videos. I've done one, I'm quite happy with that. Still stands up. But I think I can cover, say, like Krieg tanks in that Dawn video. My patience is admirable. Patience, just like anything, comes with practice. Patience also comes with confidence and knowing what you're doing. I don't have a lot of patience if I've not painted something before and I'm trying to figure out if it's working or not. I get very frustrated. But if I've painted that enough times, then you get in a rhythm. And I've done so much highlighting as well. I think I've spent a good part of a year once just highlighting Space Marines. I was painting a Salamander army for a friend, and I basically did so much highlighting every day. And you just get better and you don't even realise it. And at the end of it, you're like, oh, this is actually a lot easier than it was when I first started. And then I found, because my highlighting had improved, just painting in general and approaching painting miniatures just felt more comfortable, and it was easier. I didn't put on the decal yet and already put on Norn oil. I wouldn't worry too much. I always leave transfers until the very end. So for Norn oil, that's really just there to create definition on your miniature. If you're doing any kind of weathering on your miniature, you could do that after you apply the transfers, but the transfers tend to come on after, last. So don't worry about it, you've not done anything wrong. I looked through your channel for the Dawn tank, was sad I couldn't find one. I look forward to it. Yeah, the model was pricey. Yeah, I honestly, it's my favourite tank. I love the miniature, and when I saw it I was just like, that is the perfect design for an Imperial Guard tank. So I probably will do one this year. Jeff Robbins, I brought the Legionnaires kill team and I'm doing Alpha Legion. I've seen your video for Chaos, I'm going to try it. Yeah, make sure you get a lot of spare bits in kits and boxes, so make sure you practice on those before you attempt it on the actual main miniature, which I try and say in some of my videos. But make use of the spare bits in your boxes to practice things on. Because there's two ways people do Alpha Legion. The way I've done it in my video, I chose intentionally because it's different to how other people show you. Because everyone shows you how to do Alpha Legion in like a metallic scheme, but I just didn't want to repeat that, and so I did like what would call a traditional way of painting armor, like a matte paint, which I prefer. Because the metallic armor, this comes from obviously the Horus Heresy approach, from how Forge World used to paint theirs, and it's just sort of stuck that that's how Alpha Legion's painted. Yes, you can put the decal on after putting the Norn oil on, that's not a problem. As I say, when I do the transfers and decals, they're the last thing I do. You can get the Dawn tank for £50. I'll have to have a look. I'm sure I can get it a bit cheaper somewhere. Did I get a chance to check out my Lamenta after last stream? I haven't. I will have a look. Have you sent it? I'll have a look after this stream. I didn't get a chance last night because I basically just went to bed after last night's stream. So well, I'll finish up, but I'll tell you what the plan is. Finishing up. Obi Stonks Kenobi, hey, been a follower for a while. Nice to see you streaming. Are you tempted by Twitch? I'm not a streamer forward channel, so I don't think switching over to Twitch would really benefit me, because I've already got an audience on YouTube. And I just kind of like YouTube. I do watch Twitch for streamers, but I just feel like the right choice is to stick into YouTube with streaming. It's not having to deal with another platform, and I know you can stream on both at the same time, but I think I'm just going to stick to YouTube. But if I was a streaming forward channel, I'll do Twitch, with YouTube being secondary content, but YouTube's my main content. I'll have a look, because I do Firestorm games, so I can check out Firestorm games which I'm associated with. Do you know about the website Hobby Workshop has a lot of good deals on Warhammer miniatures? Yeah, I know you can. There's a lot of places you can get cheaper miniatures. As I say, I usually get stuff off Firestorm games, and that's where all my affiliate links go to. Yeah, I know there is a big scene on Twitch, but again, it's just the logistics of it. It'll just be, I just don't want to start again on Twitch. I don't know how many people would follow me from YouTube to Twitch. But I'm happy enough on YouTube, to be fair. So my next tutorial, which is going to be out in 2 weeks, is going to be Reboot Gulliman. I start painting him tomorrow. And that's what I'm going to be working on all next week, painting-wise. And then throughout the end of January and February and the start of March, I'm doing Age of Sigmar content. So I bought this starter set for Age of Sigmar, so I'm going to be doing a beginner video for Skaven, a beginner video for the Stormcast, and then I'm going to be doing a Paint Your First Miniatures Age of Sigmar edition. Then after that, I'm doing the Blade Guard to go with Reboot Gulliman and the Space Marine 2 and Secret Level content. I just think it's appropriate to have a Blade Guard tutorial now. I never thought I would do that, but I'm looking forward to painting the Blade Guard now because they're some of my favourite Space Marine units. What else is there? The next stream probably won't be until 2 weeks. I thought about doing one next week, but I'm probably going to be trying to get this Gulliman video out because I've got quite a lot going on this week, being at New Year, and the week after as well, so I'm not going to get much time to work on the Gulliman video as I can, so I've got to free up the space as much as I can. But moving forward into the new year, I want to try and do a stream once a week, just because it's nice and chill, and I've enjoyed like doing the stream yesterday and today. Got into painting minis in April. Your videos have helped a lot. It's also my bank account is empty. Yeah, that's every hobby really. Hobbies are expensive, unfortunately, but we love them. So I'm going to call that there. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to go get some to eat, then I think I'm going to carry on painting some Imperial Fists. But I hope everybody has a great new year. I hope next year is either a better one or as good as this one, depending on how this year went. But you'll see new content and live streams for me in the new year now. So good luck, enjoy yourselves, and take care of yourselves. And thank you very much for 2024. It's been pretty epic. There's been a lot of new things going on for the channel, and I feel like 2025 is going to be epic. I've got a lot of stuff planned, so I'm hoping you're all looking forward to that. Again, thank you, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Have a good new year. I'll get to the end screen. See you later.